These are 5.10 notes. Okay, synthetic division. So we're still going to be dividing. The special part about this is we're always going to use a linear divisor. So it's always going to be x plus or minus a number. So like here, x minus 1, x plus 3, x minus 3. So it's always going to be x plus or minus your root. Okay, so this is the only time that it works is when we're dividing by a linear divisor. So it kind of says that right here, linear divisor. Okay, so when we have a problem like this, we could use long division, or we can learn how to do synthetic division. Synthetic division is a lot quicker, I think, but it is a little bit different. So we're gonna draw almost like an upside down division box. Okay, and what goes inside is still the first equation, but it's only the coefficients. So there's going to be a 1, a 5, and a -6. So I just kind of leave some space in between, and I write those 3 coefficients down. So this is just the number in front of each variable. Okay, so then outside, this is the tricky part, is I want to write the root. Okay, so this is x minus 1, so the root is actually going to be a +1, so I go ahead and write +1 out here. Okay, and so this is how synthetic division works. We always drop down the first number and we write it down at the very bottom, and then we do 1 times 1, which is equal to 1, and we write it there, and then we combine these two numbers. So a 5 and a 1 is 6, and so we write a 6 there. So we combine vertically, and then we repeat those steps. So 1 times 6, okay, gives me a 6, and then we combine these two numbers. -6 with a +6 is a 0. Okay, and so this is how we write our factor. The last number is always going to be the remainder. Okay, and then the next number is going to be the constant. So that means this number does not have an x in it. And then the next number is going to be the x term. And if we had more numbers, it would go x squared, x cubed, and so forth, right? But we just stop right here at the x term. So we're going to have 1x plus 6, because that's a +6. And there is no remainder, so this is our final answer. Okay, so then we'll do number 2. Again, kind of an upside down division box. Coefficients 1, 1, and 30. Outside over here, remember we take the root, this is a +3, so we're gonna have a -3. We drop down this first number, we multiply. -3 times 1, we write it in the next column. Combine, and then do -3 times 2, write it in the next column. It's a +6. Combine, okay, so this is the remainder. Okay, this is the constant. This is the x term. So then we're going to have 1x minus 2, and then we have a remainder of 36 over x plus 3. There's our final answer. Okay, so let's move on. This time this is a little bit longer. Again, same process. Always check, that's the one thing, that our polynomial is in order and it's not missing anything. So this has an exponent of 4, 3, 2, 1, and then none, so it's not missing anything. So we can go ahead with this problem. All coefficients 2, -11, 15, 6, -18. And then the number that goes outside is a +3. We drop down the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Combine, -5. 3 times -5 is -15. Combine, 0. 3 times 0 is 0, combine 6. 3 times 6 is 18, combine 0. So then again, remainder, constant, x term, x squared term, x cubed term. So we're gonna have 2x cubed minus 5x squared. Okay, this is 0, so I don't need to write it, plus 6, and then there is no remainder, so that is my final answer. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and skip down to number 6. You can tell here I am missing values. Okay, so this is how I'm going to fix that. I'm gonna start off with coefficients. 1, I'm missing the x squared term, which is gonna be 0. I'll do that in orange. I'm missing the x term as well, so I have another 0. And then I have 27, and then -3 goes out here. Drop down the 1, -3 times 1, -3. Combine. -3 times -3 is a positive 9. Combine. -3 times a 9 is -27. Combine. Okay, remainder, constant, x term, x squared. So we have 1x squared minus 3x plus 9. That's my answer. Okay, if we flip it over on the back, okay, it says synthetic division can be used to factor. In examples, we have this right here was divided by this, and the answer was something. So if I wanted to factor this, I know that one of the factors is this because that's what we're dividing by. And so again, here we're missing the x squared term. Okay, so if you need to understand what I'm talking about, we're missing this term right there. Okay, and so I'm going to use that for the synthetic division. So I do a 1 for the coefficient there, a 0, a 1, and a 30. And then again, this was plus 3, so now it's minus 3 here because I take the root. Drop down the 1, -3 times 1, -3. Combine gives me -3. -3 times -3 gives me a positive 9. Combine. -3 times 10 gives me a -30. Combine. Okay, remainder, constant, x squared. So my answer is x squared minus 3 plus 10. Okay, so you can write it up here as well. X squared minus 3x plus 10. And if we wanted to show the factoring part of this, then that's what it would look like factored. What we got is our answer times what we divided by. Okay. This time, I want to show you the difference. Like number 8 right here is just slightly different because it gives us a factor right here, and it says that we are given that -5 is a zero of f of x. So that means that x is equal to -5. So this is not written as a factor. If I wanted to write it as a factor, it would be x plus 5. So keep that in mind when we're gonna do this division right here. So if it tells you the x-intercept or the 0 is that, then that's what we're gonna use. So for instance, we're gonna take the coefficients 2, 3, 39, and 20. 2, 3, -39, -20. And then since this is the 0, we're just gonna keep it as the -5. Okay, because if it was written as a factor, it would be x plus 5. Drop down the 2. -5 times 2 is -10. Combine to get -7. -5 times -7 is positive 35. Combine, that gives us a -4. -5 times a -4 is a +20. Combined, that's 0. Remainder, constant, x term, x squared term. So for this, our factor becomes 2x squared minus 7x minus 4.